Testing, 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 testing. And here. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Hi.
Harry,
Let me turn off the music.
Harry, do you hear me okay? Is my microphone working?
Yeah, you sound great.
Okay, because this setup has often made my voice sound strange, so I just wanted to verify
Yeah,
it.
well, it was very amusing.
How are you, Harry?
Hi. Good morning.
You look happy.
Yeah, you look great without your makeup.
And how are you doing, Harry?
I'm fine. I'm good. It's a lot. Yes.
So I guess you mentioned gossip, huh?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm having a lot of one-on-one with Tammy lately, as she pointed her charms at me.
They're wonderful terms, aren't they?
Yes. Yes, they are. And of course, well, I was kind of not ready and prepared for that, but there was no reason to avoid them or say no.
Yeah, thanks. I was hoping you would lower your camera a little bit so I could see the rest of your face. Yeah, that'd be great. Okay, thank you. And just for the record, I am recording this,
Yes,
um, and we can talk later on about whether or not we want to share this, of course. But
yes.
okay,
Yes. Well, ultimately, I don't mind this being shared because also between Tammy and me, we are recording everything that happens, and we're touching on some very intimate material there.
yes,
That's what happens, and that's okay. That's okay, but it's not publicly available yet.
yes, of course.
We're in the middle of kind of discover how our vulnerabilities resonate. I would say.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot to say about that. Can I just put the tea in the kettle because I just finished the
Sure.
water.
Then let me do that. I'm gonna go get some hot water myself. Okay. All right. I'll leave the
Okay.
video on.
I'm not in a hurry. You can
No.
pause it if you want. That's okay. Yes.
Okay. Sure. Are you back? I'm back.
I'm back. Yes.
Okay.
Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you. My water is still boiling, but I thought I'd come back, just check on you. So, Harry, are you in a relatively stable living situation now?
Yes, I still haven't moved my stuff. It's still quite empty because most of it is just not here yet.
Oh, nice.
And it's all cluttered and some boxes and all that.
I still have a lot of unpacked boxes myself, and it's been 2 years since I moved in here. I move a little bit every month, you know. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the very good thing. How's the sound? Do you need? I can put my.
No, sound is good.
Okay. Of course, I'm in the process of reinventing me at 65, so that's very interesting to notice. And what I'm learning here, I've decided this year would be just for me.
Mm-hmm.
Getting myself together and deciding, okay, what's really important for me in this stage, and who am I? And now that this is the first time basically in my life that I start living just for myself. I've always been or in a relationship or or in a group or in a way that I was not. Being myself is basically my journey, I think, and bringing myself into the world and being myself and totally embodied and all that. And so I decided at the beginning of the year after leaving Antwerpen and my partner, so okay, now it's all about you, so you have to find out what that is and what belongs to me and what doesn't belong there. So what I'm learning these last weeks is that I can define my own pace. And I have to work with others like you're doing now. If you're commit to working for somebody else, okay, then I have to run and have deadlines, and I still can play that game. It's like suddenly being invited to a game of squash or something. It's fast, and you have deadlines and pay attention. And I like that too. It's like a game. But now when I met 2 deadlines Friday. In the last few days, they are extremely slow at a pace that I can't. For the first time in my life, I allow myself to just be and rest with myself, so to speak.
So in that mode, how did you handle this surprise?
Well, I was utterly unprepared. And of course, I think we kind of shared that first. Yeah, I kind of accepted in openness and say, okay, if Sammy, if you want something to share about your feelings and about your what's important for you, okay, I'm there because it's part of the global collaboration that we're there for each other. So, but I also was aware of, okay, this is basically coming at a time that I decided to kind of stay away from women and all that they evoke, because I still am in a healing process from my relationship, and I have still a lot of sadness about it, and that's not going so well on that side. But I'm not against discussing who I am in this and looking what Tammy wants to bring. But it's going down a rabbit hole because it's hard to control what it evokes. If somebody, especially somebody as beautiful as a person and as a woman, points her attention at me, so I kind of bathed in that attention, and it brings a lot of things I kind of put away. It opens up a lot of things in me, and it's great, and it's also like playing with fire. But at the moment, I kind of cave in, but I also feel a lot of gratitude that I am allowed to have all these feelings and share this. And the nice thing is the trust that we grew in the last years, that it's possible to exist in a way that doesn't have any claims or other complicating attitudes in it. Does that make sense?
It does. I mean, she told me that she did share with you that she had a number of conversations with me also.
Yes, I know. She told me that. So that's why it's important that we open this connection as well.
Yeah. And I got to share with you a moment, probably about a week ago. She'd already told me that she had talked to you and shared a number of her feelings. And there was a moment when she was telling me that I just felt that my respect and love for you magnified when she told me that. Because in the kind of love that I'm seeing Tammy express, it's very inclusive in a way. And I use that word because it's another dangerous word to use. But, you know, when Tammy and I talk, we're really asking ourselves, why can we not love so purely and totally everywhere? Right? We're not talking sex here, really. We're talking about this really deep, connected, caring, always, there kind of love. And there's this expectation or common understanding that there might be some jealousy, but that's not what is being spread here. At least in me, when Tammy was telling me about anything that was going on here. And that actually surprised me a little bit. Yes. But anyway, I just wanted to let you know that I just feel that there's a lot that we can share. There's a lot that we can discuss. There's a lot we can do to help each other and Tammy. And I think this is potentially something very, very pure and good that I'm hoping others can express and feel. Whether or not it's with you or me or Tammy, it's just something that I'm hoping can be spread.
I think as far as I can follow, I share that hope and that desire. And that's also one of the reasons that I agree to step into this, because if we are working on having real valued and trusted relationships that are inclusive, not then we need to kind of see really how deep that goes. And these are kind of new territories. Try to move into consciously and own it and be responsibly and own what you're doing and not shy away from those very instinctive and brutal things that come up, like wanting somebody and I want her on my own, that kind of feeling, those. And on the other side, that also, like you mentioned, jealousy. If like we are just having this very deep connection, I can only have so much attention and time. So all the attention and time that's exchanged between you is at the cost of my work elsewhere or my presence elsewhere.
Yes.
So there is. It's not as simply that it's just like spreading and it's all good by itself. No, we need to be very aware and also be very pure and clear about the distinctions that are naturally existing, and denying things in order because that it feels good at the moment or fits the situation. That's kind of those subtle dangers that it's like a swamp in that in that respect, I think.
You're right. I mean, it is an ideal to aspire to, but in practical, actual living real life, there are limitations to time.
Yes, and that's
and availability.
Yes, and we need really to learn on that aspect. From where do we easily derail, and where do the emotions or the instincts or the desires take over, and and that's the main point for me. Where do I kind of cheat myself, start cheating for myself in order to get what I want? And if I do that in this game, it gets tainted, and it's very, very, very sensitive work. It's very subtle. And then the thing is that at one point it's so subtle and it's so, on the other side, it's so overwhelming. All these feelings that kind of, oh dear, what yeah, well, she's not without effect here.
She's very powerful.
Yeah.
As are you.
Well, I have to still learn that because what I have to learn that I've always held back myself. I might not make the impression, but I was kind of raised in a family where privacy and individuality and feelings did not exist. We just had to follow the order, so to speak. And my whole life, I've been kind of trying to learn the things I didn't know and didn't even know they existed, and try to own them, and that kind of has formed me. And this whole past comes into play because looking at it, everything that I feel and consciously accepting that this happens to me and allowing to, addressing it, wording it, exchanging it, etc., etc. So that's what it does on my side. What happened with you while going into this? Because of course it must be more complicated for you as you are in a relationship. So
yeah, I mean, when Carrie first brought this up with me, she was using a lot of language that is at least uncommon when it's put together in the particular way that she put it together. She was using terms like information packet, and taking information in, and in particular, taking information into her body. And then it turns out that it had been weeks that this had been happening before she actually told me. And of course, as you know, she's a very attractive, very powerful woman. So when someone like that puts her attention on you,
yes,
it's like the notice.
Spotlight.
Not easy to ignore, right?
Right, she's impossible to ignore.
Right, and yet I was very upfront with her about my situation with Gail, and so gradually, what the relationship I'm in with Gail, we gradually over time described more and more and more of it, because more of it came up. We're both very careful about making sure that we're honest, as well as careful not to hurt anyone, myself or Tammy or Gail or anyone else. And I was always conscious that we were recording every session as well. And in fact, I'm hoping that, and I can't guarantee this, but I'm hoping that throughout all of that, I was honest and at least caring enough that eventually, if all of this gets shared publicly, I'm hoping that it's not something I'll be ashamed of,
Yes, spot on. I think that's very essential.
Yeah, especially if, it gets public and then Gail views it,
Yes.
So, yeah, there's a lot of boundaries there that I don't even understand in your situation, and whether those boundaries exist or not, because, in theory, you're not with someone anymore, but you are still very much healing through that process. And I don't know how to finish that sentence, but there are questions.
No, me neither. That's kind of what puzzles me as well, because as far as I can word or frame it at this moment, my first impression, this is very bad timing. I'm not into I don't want to do this, but also not only who she is, but also what her intention is, to kind of explore it and not do all and share, which is basically within the intention of GCC. I did not think that I had any mental objections. How do I word this? The thing is that I have been yearning for a good relations for years, and I still need to recover. So that's one point, and the other point is that doing this with Tammy, who is on the other side of the globe, is a blessing in disguise, because we can't really get into a relationship. So we are forced literally to stay each in our own situation. And I have to feel what it all does to me and what my blockages are, talking about unblocking and all that. And then see how I can do my process and own my process while being in the presence of somebody like Tammy. And the fact that there is a witness and with those intentions and when it's a safe space, that's a huge opportunity.
You know, also in reality, the physical distance is not a real distance. Just like, with Tammy, when she first contacted me, it was in a strange situation where she knew that she did not have a valid passport. And I also did not have a valid passport, even though we're only 90 minutes from each other. So those things can be overcome. I have since gotten my passport renewed. It is possible to buy a plane ticket and go,
Oh, yes. But of course. But that would kind of, I think this is the best way to kind of stay with where I am, because I have had this. I always have this part of me that wants to kind of go for the symbiosis, but then that's not what I should avoid. That I know, I'm certain of that, and I want to be conscious and aware and learn from what's happening, because that's what I want to heal. I'm not looking for a relationship. I'm looking for healing within myself.
If that is the case, I think Tammy has tremendous healing powers.
Yes, and she gives herself, so to speak. She's just the whole making who she is, and I try to mirror that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So at the moment, I just mostly feel gratitude because she's this extreme. It's intense and disruptive, but it's also very powerful and healing, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I don't have no idea if it goes anywhere, but that's totally irrelevant at this point. What it is at this moment is, this is welcome. Yeah.
So since the disclosure by Tammy, have you noticed Tammy have new insights or behave differently or carry herself differently?
Well, from my perspective, I immediately try to find the drives and needs that made her do this. Because what does she need? Why is she looking for somebody? Why would she can't get any man? So why would she point her attention at me while I'm in my situation? So I have a certain unavailability, there's a certain lack of readiness, and so have you at the moment that she contacted you. And these are just my thoughts. It could be part of our attraction because we can't step in and take over her life or ruin that or take her with us or whatever, because that's not the intention of us to do that. And that gives her space to feel what it does. And I think she is looking for men that are safe for her, because she has suffered, as a young child, she has suffered abuse. So she, in her cell memories of her body, are kind of very uncomfortable situations. And we need to look at that. And that is what is happening on her side mostly. That she needs somebody to be there for her without wanting it or doing anything to her, but she can be who she is and she can open up. And that is at this moment what's happening. That I'm just there for her, and she's lovely. I adore her, but that's the easy part. But then be there, and the hard part for me is not being able to do anything particular with it because I can't touch her. I can't. Then it's a huge distance, and But as said, that's exactly what I need to stay with myself. Kind of flow into her, and she has to do her thing, and that is what happens between us, and that's extremely fascinating to witness. Although it burdens me in a way as well, because I knew that was part of the game, and the yearning it evokes is harder to bear at certain points than you could predict, but that's part of the game. But
harder to bear.
Being what's the English word? Being honored in her beautiful female presence and embodying that for her is basically a step, because her charms are partly, and this is all my perception, has been one of her superpowers, because it's a survival system. She charms everybody. She just canvassing and knocking on doors, and she can talk to anybody and charm them in 2 minutes. So that is not new, but being or letting go of like this behavior and just being herself and sinking into a body and feel who that is and feeling safe in her own body where she hasn't been safe. I think that's her path, as far as I see it at this point, and we talk about it in that way. So that's kind of the lens through which I kind of approached it, because I was kind of, okay, I've seen this before. Then we all, as I said, free will doesn't exist. We all choose this path of the least resistance. There's somebody who might help me go forward.
I presume that she's given you permission to talk about anything.
Yes. Well, when she first reached out to me, I went to YouTube and I saw the first introduction from herself. That's like 2-3 years ago already. So I'm Tammy Lee Meyer and blah, blah, blah. And she said, I'm open to pretty much anything. So I held her to that.
But even more specifically, when it comes to these kinds of territory and navigating through all of this, I was initially at first very careful to think, can I ask this? Can I not ask this? Is it safe to talk about? Is this not safe to talk about? And she would always encourage me, ask.
Yes.
I'm thinking she does the same to you.
Yes, and asking is free. I have noticed very careful that you're very careful about it and proceed slowly. And that's the question, Sam. I think this is also because you need this care yourself.
Yeah, I don't want to harm anyone. I don't want to cause pain.
No, nobody does.
Right.
And the nice thing about these experiments is that there's enough trust and enough resilience mentally and morally that you can make mistakes because we all trust the intent.
Yeah.
And as far as I'm concerned, you can ask me anything. The only risk you take is that you get an answer. And you might not like the answer. Okay, but that's the game.
Yeah.
So I know you're incredibly smart. So I like to keep the principles rather simple between us.
Mm-hmm.
It's complicated fast enough, I guess.
I'm also thinking, there's obviously healing that Tammy can provide when anyone, you or I, are in conversation with her. But I'm also curious to see what can happen between you and me.
Yes.
During those kind of experiences, and how is that then reflecting on the healing process, both for ourselves as well as for Tammy? And I'll start with what is potentially a dangerous question, but it's a question I've always had in the back of my mind whenever this started. The question is, how real is this? Is this real?
What is this? What's the distance of it? What's real? What are you pointing?
Sharing the love, the openness that Tammy is expressing, because then lately, or there's up and down periods, obviously, and then every once in a while she'll call me and say, I think I'm crazy. I'm obviously crazy. And so she goes from sharing and transparency and love to kind of some doubting herself at times, or it's either that or it's a question designed to elicit a response.
Oh, did you check that one? There's a last. That's a good distinction. What is it?
Yeah.
Did you check that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So what is it?
Okay, to be honest, I found more about Tammy's relationships in the past. I don't know if you've had time to spend, talking about that.
Just a little.
But I've noticed, and this may not be true, but I've noticed at least once or twice before, and I know this is on the record, but I've observed this with Tammy directly already, is that she has relationships with people whom she really wants to work closely with.
Yeah.
It's happened at least once or twice before.
Yes.
So it's just an interesting correlation.
Good point.
I don't know if there's any causality there. I don't know if there's any.
No, a correlation is certainly there, I would say.
Yeah. And so that in some way adds to my question, is this real?
Okay, and in that context, it's a very good question. I've noticed this as well. And my guess, I don't know. First, the direct answer is I don't know. Secondly, yes, I noticed the same. And thirdly, then kind of trying to answer this. I guess this is related in a way, and she might not. My guess would always be she's not conscious of it, but as I lately use needs very much to kind of understand what happens in. She has a needs on both sides. She has a need to kind of bring into the world what she thinks is important to be brought, the alphabet code and all that. And I was the one who responded to that and brought stuff.
Very much, very strongly.
Yes. So she wants to work with me. That's evident. Mm-hmm. And also, yes, that kind of, that happens at the same time. So, and it's intertwined, certainly. I'm certain it's also kind of, the way that she switches from me to that topic is almost without any boundary.
She, in fact, yesterday shared with me that she would love to go into a retreat with you and just spend the whole time talking about the alphabet code.
Yes, well, that's kind of answers it. Yeah. And the alphabet
myself.
Yes. No, go on.
I myself, am on record, hearing the alphabet code. I think I was interviewing her about the alphabet code, and I think Fleming was in presence. And I expressed some questions. I still don't really get it. So I think I have some non-understanding of the alphabet code, whereas you, in a sense, very much embraced it.
Well, I'm fascinated by it because how is it possible that something that so fits so coherently together just gets received from somewhere else this way? So that's what's fascinating about it, and that's why I'm trying to take it apart in order to see what it does and what the value is. And until now, it's there's deeper. There's more in it than I could imagine. It's not something you can dream up like that, and that's that. The fact, how is this possible? How is this? Can this be real? Is what kind of fascinates me, because it basically defies the fundamentals of my deterministic thinking. And I know you also carry a lot of heritage around in that aspect, that we have learned, to use our brains in order to kind of grasp reality and frame it and work with it, and it's a very powerful tool as well. And then she comes into the game with this, what is this? This can't be real. And yet, when I poke into it, I haven't really deeply understood it. Let's on the record, no, I don't understand it. But what I see from it is very interesting and far more coherent than
Eric, for some reason, your microphone level went way low. Surprising.
Oh, is that a proximity?
It's still low. I'm curious.
Okay. Well, that seems to happen every now and then. I must have a good connection. Well, I put those on, but this seems to be more stable. Anyway.
Okay, let's try and go with it. I think I can still understand you, but I was just noticeable that it dropped suddenly.
Is this? Yeah, well, that's weird because nothing happened here,
Okay.
and it happens before. It happened just between Tammy and me. Sometimes just yeah, I'm just like Glenn, kind of hard to understand. But sometimes it's very clear. Is this better?
This is much better. This is very
Okay.
clear right now. Yeah.
Okay, well, shall we keep it like this?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I long for a stable situation around me. Also, the technological side. So, okay,
Mm-hmm.
back to where we were.
Yeah.
Alphabet code. Do I understand it? No. Does it interest me? Yes, it's fascinating, and I'm interested to work. But also, my working with Tammy was kind of trying to help her to nudge her and to bring it into the world, because she's been carrying it around and she's so full of it. So I think,
You can definitely help others magnify their voice and their expression.
Yes.
You have a gift for that. And so
Yes.
she sees that and she very much appreciates it, because you've done things with alphabet code blocks and visuals that
Yes.
I think definitely help her.
Yes.
Fine.
And I like doing that, but it's also, that makes me more attractive to get back to that point. Yes.
Yes, it
So,
does. Yes.
and she's looking for a mate in more aspects than just a lover or somebody to feel safe with, but also to somebody to work with. And and then we're going back to me. That is also complicating, was that's basically some kind of desire I had carried around for years as well. My last relationship, I kind of invested everything I could to have an integral total life together. And I did all I could, but yes, you need two to tango, as they say. So that didn't happen the way I could foresee it.
Hmm.
But then she comes along as totally unexpected, out of the blue, quite literally, and she also expresses all these kinds of things. And in Belgium, I also had a younger, attractive woman that kind of, approached me the same way. So she was kind of using the charm, and the women do this naturally, of course, or instinctively as well, I guess, to kind of evoke my help, to get her work off the ground. And I love helping people, so I'm never against that. But that also, this can be easily mixed up or misunderstood or misinterpreted, or lead to places where neither of us needs to be. So I'm happy you addressed this. This is important to keep that clear and in the open.
Yeah, and that's why it may sound so skeptical. That's why I still myself wonder how real this is. I mean, at one level,
what is the this? What reality of what are you questioning?
Yeah, that's a good question, because clearly the love is real.
Well, what is real about the love? What is love for you?
The listening, the caring, the generosity, the attention, the energy, the wish for goodness, the wanting to share, the wanting to have frequent connection.
Okay.
All that at some level is absolutely real. What I question is why? And maybe that's a stupid question. It's a question asked by the mind,
No, it's a great question, because were you there when you had the conversation about free will? And everybody said, oh, I have free will. I certainly have free will. And I'm still think that's also a concept that helps us navigate reality.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as I watch my language a lot for that as well. Everything I do is driven by needs. The need to sleep, to eat, to go to the toilet, to drink, to breathe. That's a good test. My free will, by free will I will not breathe, that won't happen. But also higher functions, they are subject to what I need to stay alive or need to progress or to maintain my existence.
Mhm.
And it's all about that to me. And also our need to connect and be connected in the community is also a large need. And it's known that in history, when marriage was arranged by the parents, there was no romantic love as we have known it for the last century, but it still worked out quite the same. So apparently that doesn't matter that much as we think. So we have some very simple ideas about love and romanticism that probably are not real at all, because now I've got all these emotions going between me and Tammy. But if somebody else would have popped up, the same would have happened, because there's a need in me to live that. So, yeah, and we know both need to express our work, and we know both need to feel seen and all that. So, and that's what's happening.
Mhm.
And yeah, put the boxes of this is love, this is work. Yeah, I agree with that. Is happening at the same time, and probably they come in one package.
Mhm.
I wouldn't be so attractive if I didn't help it the way I did. That's for certain.
That is a question that I ask. You know, if I
Why?
hadn't shared some of the stuff that I'd shared with her around CCCs or the COI or the media or the GCC proposal itself, I'm with you. This whole thing would not have happened, right?
So what meaning or conclusion do you attach to this? So what does this mean to you?
I don't know.
Okay.
I still am asking, why the question is asked and what even the question means. Is this real? I'm kind of wondering, let's suppose, here's the real question, okay? You and I have both demonstrated some kind of offering or contribution to Tammy.
Mm-hmm.
Suppose now, let's take someone, whether it's Josh or Doug or Heiner,
Yeah.
someone
Yep.
who then comes by and contributes something very, very strong, very, very meaningful to Tammy. I guess the question is, and I know Tammy will eventually watch this video. Will this attraction happen with that person? It's a
You know
deep question.
what image comes to mind when you say that?
What?
That is all these. There's this queen, this beautiful woman. All the men bring their presents to her, and she takes the one with the biggest present. Yeah, well, nature works like that, so it could be. But then back to what love is about and inclusive love is about, then that's okay, but that's then very interesting to kind of, on an individual level and between the people and on a group level, observe this
Yes.
and become conscious of what's happening and exchange this and learn from it.
Yeah.
Yes, because in my assumption, nature will not change her rules for us. Now we're still learning how it works, and we're trying to get to the next level in this game. And this requires that I'm whole in myself, and that I create wholeness between us and you, and we make connections. And also between us as men and as brothers, we have to learn to have connections that are not just about competition, about our actions, but also, and not only just about the mental connection, but also from the heart. So that's quite vulnerable place for a lot of men, but most of us, have been didn't learn to use this particular part of us.
And that question is asked in a very dangerous way also, because there's nothing wrong with the kind of love that can be possible. The question is, though, is it possible for Tammy or me or you to have 5-hour conversations every day with 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 people? The practical answer is no. Then the question is it necessary? Is it part of
Now, if I jump to what it would lead to, it leads to trust and communion. So at a certain point, that's now when you've been in a relation before, once you get know each other, really deeply know each other, you trust each other, then okay, then you're just together, and the most important things are kind of aligned and said and done, and so then you can just go do your own thing, knowing very well that you're kind of in this communion and in this relationship and this togetherness. So I think this, yeah, now that will find its balance.
So on a seemingly very different topic, has Tammy talked about past lives?
No, she uses, of course, words that I still struggle with accepting or feeling or experience myself. Like she feels my energy. It's like, okay. And past life, she says there's a soul connection. Okay. And I say, okay, I'm not against that. I will test this in some way. But she says she experienced me very, very close to her. But I lied in my bed. I kind of miss her. I don't feel it. I feel just an enormous distance, and I can think about her, and gradually even allow myself to have fantasies about what that will be. And that happens just firstly yesterday, because I kind of shied away from getting myself into this uncontrollable things. But yeah, no, yes, past lives. We've discussed it briefly. Why?
Yeah, she uses the word soul contract with me.
Oh yeah, she said, yeah, soul contract. Yeah, the suggestion that
I'd love to understand this contract, but I lost my copy of the contract. I'd have to find it and reread it. I don't know the terms and conditions. I haven't read the fine print in this contract.
No, and the word contract is also dangerous one. So and I hate it. I hate those concepts in a way that's. I kind of that suggests that outside of this life, I kind of willingly chose to be as ignorant and panicking as I and find myself being here for. What the fuck is this? What is this about? What's happening? And should we do it like? Does this have any use? And I am interested and try to understand a lot of those spiritual concepts and all that, but. Somebody else named them spiritual bypasses. They might be true, but the fact is, I'm living here. This is where, even if in the most spiritual, most pure spiritual traditions that I recognize, it's about being alive, embodied, and present, and responsible, and be part of the world. So it could be that it's kind of arranged out of this box of the universe. Could be, I don't deny it, very interesting philosophically, but practically the work is here, and we're here to work, to do the work in the largest sense. So that's how I kind of frame it in order to okay, could be, but is it how relevant it is? I don't know.
In the outline where I've put some of the GCC terms and ideas and phrases and whatever, I did put some of those words which I don't believe have appeared in GCC, but they have appeared in conversations with Tammy. So if you look, there are things like energy signature, right? Soul contract, those terms do appear there. And I was just wondering whether anyone would notice at some point.
From my side, I've let go of a lot of stuff because I was in my own process, as you know. So even if I wanted to, I would have been able to. But I also kind of let go of it because my sense is that we all come to those meetings with a kind of history that's full, and all smart people, the smart people problem. We all carry those imaginary books we still need to write around, and then we come into conversation, they start pouring out. And we all have a different language, a different experience, a different mindset, a different way of framing it. And then we need to have those lengthy conversations that are very interesting, but also extremely lengthy, because we basically need to put all our own material on the table, then sort it out, and then kind of align the language. And so that's a huge amount of work. And then just as a side thing, then you try to kind of grasp what Alex Reed is trying to bring, and he is also very determined. So make two friends, but I don't get it. Okay,
I don't get it myself either.
Okay, that's good to hear.
I don't know how apparent it was in that video, but I was still struggling to understand.
I thought I was having my doubts. Are you polite or are you understanding?
I was trying to be both, but I'm not as understanding as I am trying to be polite, and I may have failed at both. I don't know.
No, you were helpful and friendly, and you kept asking. You kind of tried to fit his story in the kind of frames you use to get stuff moving. I got that, and I recognized that, and I thank you for that. But it was a nice gift from you to him, I think. But I kind of probably haven't seen, but I kind of built on top of that in the Facebook thread.
Yeah, I saw.
But he's diverging all the time, and he's not getting down to the ground. So okay, and I think he's also somebody, and like many of us, at least me as well, he's been floating out there, dreaming of the solution, and then here's a solution. Now I need to bring. So I got a solution. Do it my way, and we all meet each other at that point, and thanks to that we kind of evolved of being respectful to one another, but still not one story, this GCC thing, not at all. For instance, Glenn as well, he has huge thoughts, I can feel them, and he's very good at, he's opening up, I like that as well, it's coming more and more, it's pouring out, but I still also don't know his set of principles that he works from or what he works towards. I don't have any idea.
Yeah, it seems like, for me, the impression I get from Glenn is it's all the good ideas lumped together, but one doesn't know where to start because there's almost no distinction about.
No, it's all great ideas.
It's all good, right? Everything is
very interesting.
Possible.
Yes, extremely interesting.
Ultimate motherhood and apple pie story, which of course everybody would enjoy, right?
Yes.
But it then sounds like, it's an agreement with everyone,
Yes, well, yes, and he says, so we all can be very happy. And my current understanding of the world is not about being happy. That's the balancing point. We need to be there in order to function. So it's extremely important, but it's not the purpose of life. It's not the purpose of evolvement. No, the purpose is just to stay alive and handle the bad shit. As I say, work and organization is all meant to kind of not have to organize and work anymore, but it's kind of managing the other part of reality. Time is it?
It's 7:40. So I was wondering if, like, in 5 minutes, you might want to break before we go into GCC, or whether we should just continue this. And
now, what do you want? What does Sam want?
I was always curious because I knew that this is more than one conversation.
Yeah.
So I don't think we're going to get everything understood in one conversation.
No need. But I'm happy we connected.
Yeah.
And this is what you opened it up. Great.
Yeah. I mean, it's a fun topic to gossip about, as we both know.
Yeah, well, it's extremely interesting and it is relevant. And I also, and that's just see how this evolves. But I have the intention to share it more openly with first, and this is, I think Tammy thought of this, that the three of us could have a conversation about this.
Yes.
To exchange what this does to us.
Mm-hmm.
That would be very good. And then later on, I also want to bring at least the outcome of this and the learnings of this into the group.
Yes. I think she does as well.
Yes.
At the very minimum, it's we, all three, growing up and being more grown up in GCC. At the very minimum, that will happen.
Yes, the very minimum. Yeah. And I'm hoping and striving for more. I aspire more that this is, if we think about living in a new way, then we need, it is extremely important, two things, to heal myself on those very early traumas and be able to be, in my imperfection, in this group as a whole being, because otherwise I cannot be 100% present. There's still also these old stories kind of influencing my preference and all that. So we need to learn this and bring these new behaviors. Yeah, lead by example, I would guess.
So I'll confess, I don't understand this whole presencing thing. I don't understand what it means to be 100% present. I think
Okay.
we're all
Come again?
we all multitask at some level.
Yes, but you know the concept of flow. Have you heard of that one?
Csikszentmihalyi.
Yes. So flow is you need all your capacities and everything to kind of handle the situation. Then you're 100% present, Sam.
I'm still playing with that idea. You know?
Have you ever felt in flow?
Oh, absolutely. But
And
I don't think it's necessary for progress to be made. I think
no. But I just, as an example of a state of being 100% present, flow is for me the kind of prime example, because I then, for example, when I'm in my work and I'm totally sucked into I forget about time and everything, and I'm just working and I'm enjoying it, but not being aware that I'm enjoying. I'm just one with what I do. This oneness and this presence, I think that's for me what totally present means. Yeah. And also when I'm doing my work and it is closely related, I need all my capacities to kind of handle the situation. Then I noticed once that I just don't draw or just talk or I use all my body and all my intelligence, all my feelings and all my sensitivities in one whole to kind of do what I'm doing. I call this, I do a Harry. And I think it's about that kind of thing.
I feel that when I'm playing music with others.
Yeah, yeah, yes.
I get that in certain times when I'm feeling good playing ping pong, you know?
Yeah.
But I question the need for 100% presence in every interaction. I'm wondering whether or not that's a high bar to put.
Yes, it's a high bar. Is it necessary? No, I don't think so. Some stuff I can do with my eyes closed, so don't need that much attention. But it is, to me, a good measure to be present, like here, in this way, that knowing that I'm here, knowing that I'm sitting, aware of everything that I am, and consciously use this to do this.
Yes.
And that ambition, that aspiration, that's important, I would guess. So not, I have a conversation with Sam and I can, some people are like that, it's fine too, but it's, I think, basically some focus that I try to have. Make sense?
No, I do understand that. I'm just trying to look at the scope of all interactions I would have living regular life, and the scope of all interactions that all human beings would have if we even achieve this new society that we have. And
is being present the scope?
It's one end of the experience dimension where presence and energy and attention is, let's say, high or optimal.
I want presence to be high. Your attention, you don't need your attention to be focused at every single thing that intensely, if that's what you mean.
See, we still need to understand what we mean by these words.
Yes, that's what happens when you get into those fundaments. Then language, now we have to go slower than we can do now, I think.
Because, for example, if I need to heat up some tea, it's going to take me away. So one could say, okay, I'm not really present during those 90 seconds or whatever that the tea needs to boil. And yet, having tea might make the rest of the interaction more optimal.
Yes. And the making of the tea, that's what some people say. Yeah, if we could do everything with the kind of attention that we put in our best moments, then we would have been more present everywhere. I can sense this when I have this Sunday and I don't have a program and I can wake up and feel the breath in my body and have time to experience that and go into the day like that. And otherwise, oh, there's the alarm and and then I'm out of the door and within the hour.
Yeah.
It's that difference, I would say.
Yeah. Anyway, there's a lot of ways to ask that question. I'm just asking it because I think it's almost assumed in this community that presence and time and focus and attention is so necessary in these conversations. And I just want to drop a little tincture of iodine in there and say, is it really, you know?
Yeah, well, yes. Well, for me, I see it as an invitation to choose for myself how do I need to be present? What do I want? What does it? And then back to the needs. What's my need? What do I bring? What's the importance of it? So am I bringing stuff? Am I taking stuff? Am I whatever?
Yeah. Anyway, you know,
Yeah.
almost it's past the quarter of the hour. So I was wondering if you want to take a break before we go into.
Yes. I think it would be good to kind of take a break, and then we'll meet each other there. And Tammy pinged me just before, almost exact the same moment that you kind of we decided to have this agreement. So I said, like, she knows I'm talking to you. That's great as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't need to do anything about that.
All right. So just to get on the record, I have recorded this.
Yes.
I will share this with you. The question is, do you want to share this with Tammy right away? I don't think obviously eventually she will see it. I just wanted to check with you whether you want to share it.
No, it's no need to. Well, that depends on you. I'm not against it, but normally I would like sleep on it for a night, really, to kind of let it sink in.
Yeah, I was thinking that, you know, some amount of time is okay.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yes. Okay, and I'll leave it to you. It's fine with me.
Very good. Hey, Harry. Good to chat.
Yeah, great. Thanks.
I'll talk
Thanks
to
a
you.
lot.
Okay? Bye for now.
Yeah.